Okay, so today I want to talk about clothing and intimidation at the poker table. And clothing is it's a big facet of impression formation, right? So like you see somebody walking down the street and they're wearing, a full piece suit and it's, beautifully tailored and cut perfectly, and you might have a perception about them. Whereas somebody walks around with, a sweater, and for example, I was just in the store, James Purse with my girlfriend. We just left, and I'm wearing like this giant sweater over here and jeans, and I look like a mess and a homeless person. And people treat you differently. They might look at me and be like, I don't think this person has the amount of money that could afford this, or so on and so forth. And I think it's a little bit less so in New York City, but there's definitely that impression that that's a manifestation of what you're wearing, right? And I definitely do think there's this intimidation factor with a lot of newer players at the poker table, in the sense that they see somebody that looks like they know how to play poker. So, young kid might have like a hoodie on and headphones on and looking real carefully in one direction, and having all these finger choices and coin rolls and all this finger trips and card chip tricks and all that. And they look like they know how to play poker. And they look like somebody that plays poker on TV, but they have no idea what the hell they're doing. They spend more time focusing on that stuff than they actually do on understanding the foundations of the game. And you might just have some kid in jeans and a t-shirt who doesn't look like much, doesn't look like a poker player, but is probably one of the most successful poker players of all time, and just happens this is their first time playing live. And I think people get way too intimidated by what someone's wearing. And I always laugh. Like I always see, big sweaters and like these disheveled kind of looking players that look like they're a poker player, but doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to play poker. And I'll see like a lot of people who are new to the game get intimidated by these people, but they'll understand that they're probably making, at times, those kind of people are making more mistakes than you, because they think that they know how to play poker, but in reality they're making massive levels of mistakes. And I know because I play poker, I've coached these players, I've seen these players out there. And it's like they'll say things, they'll make statements like, all right, I'm getting 3-1, I have to make that call. And like, yeah, you're getting 3-1, but you probably shouldn't make that call. It's still bad based on the hit cards you have and based on this player's range. Like, so don't get so overly concerned with people's clothing. Now, when you decide to wear, this is interesting. This gets different. So for me, the number one thing or number one foundation for like clothing choice when I play poker is always going to be comfort. That's the foundation. I want to be comfortable when I play. I don't want to have, something itching me. I don't want to be hot in something. I just want to make sure that I'm comfortable. Now, if I play in my office, or if I play at a friend's home game or something like that, I'm a jeans t-shirt kind of person. If I were to sit down maybe at a higher stakes game, let's say go to Vegas and I'm gonna walk into a higher stakes game, the Bellagio or Aria or maybe the Wynn or something like that, I like to be a little bit more dressed up. It's just it's not I don't really feel it gives me an edge or anything, but I'd rather people perceive me as like a business person or something like that, and not so serious of a poker player. That's my choice, and that's not kind of how I want to be handled. But also, I just feel like I just prefer to do that, and it's not grounded. I don't think that I get that much value from changing perception. Like I'm not like oh my god, like if people perceive me in a full piece suit, it's worth enough value that I need to wear a suit every single time I play. I don't believe that much, but I do believe that dressing up is for me, and the role that I play is better than dressing down. That's in my opinion. I'm not talking about going player at the table. I try to make friends with everyone. I'd rather be perceived as this kind of like well-off business person who's just playing poker, as opposed to somebody who really knows what they're doing. Beyond Tells has kind of ruined that for the most part. I'm surprised how many people have seen my videos or trailers or whatever. And I think you're the Tells guy or the Poker Tells or something. And I'm like, yeah, shit. And then that goes to shit, and I can't really do that. But yeah, don't get intimidated by these folks. I mean, like clothing. I mean, I've the same thing. Like I've seen some really, 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 really well dressed, well put together people who are, $500,000 in debt and absolutely terrified of the world, and they dress that way to convey that they're in control and they convey that they have power. And I've seen people, I'm not kidding, one of the most wealthiest people I know wears like a disgusting blazer and a shirt that says like world's best like Florida father or something like that, and the guy's worth like over $1 billion. There's this great anthropological explanation of clothing in human. I don't know what book I read it in, but it's fascinating. They talk about how clothing can personify who we want to be and mask how we truly feel about ourselves. And it was just really deep look. And some of it's just, sometimes you just wear whatever you want to wear. But it's interesting on how that, in the poker table, and how many people will dedicate, time and effort to what they're wearing. But I'm just trying to make a video. Don't be intimidated. Just because somebody looks like they know how to play poker, just because somebody acts like they know how to play poker, just because somebody talks like they know how to play poker, it doesn't necessarily mean they know how to play poker. Somebody could have been, wearing a Poker Stars t-shirt. They could have spent a Poker Stars sweater. They could have spent like $10,000 losing money and getting, player reward points to get that sweater. It doesn't mean they're good. And I think it's a perception for a lot of players out there. So instead of looking at someone and making an assumption about, all right, this player is good or bad based on what they're wearing, look at their play and see how their play fits into the fact that they're making good or bad decisions at the table. Okay? Sorry, my voice is a little bit broken up. If you have any questions about style at the table. Oh, and finally, everybody should let's try to improve the quality of dress at poker table. I mean, I think definitely poker has a bad reputation for being kind of slobby or degenerate kind of way of looking at the table. But at the end of the day, it's a game where I don't care what you wore, how much money did you walk away with? Okay, that's about it. Have a good one. Oh yeah, and sign up, schoolcards.com/sign up. Once again, make sure you're on that list. That's about it.